Hi there. Here's a classic New England recipe to go along with your Thanksgiving turkey, namely old-fashioned bread stuffing that beats the stuffing, so to speak, out of the box stuff sold at the supermarket. This is based on a classic recipe from a New England landmark, namely the world-famous Wayside Inn of Sudbury, Massachusetts. This brings back a lot of childhood memories for me since I grew up in that area, and I hope you enjoy it. This is a colonial recipe based on British bread pudding, and it's the ancestor of that box stuffing we find at the store, except that making it from scratch gives a much deeper and more delicious flavor. After chopping up some onions and celery, we cut a lot of bread into cubes. You don't have to dice the bread, just cutting it into large cubes is fine. After this, we lay the bread out in a single layer on a baking sheet or a cast iron baking pan and toast it in the oven for 45 minutes. It's okay to use a regular baking sheet, but I have a cast iron fetish, and I think cast iron is simply better for everything, including baking. While the bread is drying out, we prepare the flavoring for the stuffing. We're using lots of butter, eggs, and meat in this dish because no one ever said stuffing was a healthy dish. Once the vegetables have been cooked, we add breakfast sausage to our cast iron pan and cook the sausage until it's well done. From here, we mix in cooked chicken and cooked ham. And we mix it together and stir fry until it's good and hot. We move the cooked meat to a metal bowl, and now we move on to the final preparation. The bread isn't as dry as croutons, but it's dry enough that it'll absorb the stuffing mixture and give a very tasty bread pudding. Don't worry if it looks like the bread will overflow from the baking pot. Once we mix in the liquid, the bread absorbs it like a sponge and it reduces in size. This is basically a bread pudding, which is why we're using lots of eggs in the mix. We mix in chicken broth to add enough liquid to the mix. Then we add our spices, including ground sage, pepper, thyme, marjoram, and especially mace. Mace is an interesting spice, savory sweet. You do not want to miss this one. And we add the egg mixture to the bread and stir it around until the liquid has been absorbed. Don't worry if it seems like the bread is still dry in places. When the bread is baking, the liquid will steam the bread and every bit of it will absorb the flavor and become soft. Now we add the cooked meat and mix everything together. And we bake it in the oven for 50 minutes. Finally, we remove the lid so we can have a good crust on top. And our New England bread stuffing is ready to serve. You can stuff it into your turkey or just serve it directly to your guests. This stuffing is quite delicious, and once you've taken the time to make it yourself, you may never again be satisfied with boring old stovetop stuffing. So I do hope you enjoy this traditional New England recipe and give it a try the next time you want to make a side dish for your holiday turkey that's something special and one your guests won't soon forget. If you do try this, please post your comments below and let us know how it turned out. And especially, thank you for watching.